Alright, let's take a look at common law present and future interests. Specifically, I think we should start with life estates. It's a little easier to distill everything when you start with life estates and then build up from there. It's just a really good foundation. So, most examples that you see will have something along the lines of A passes something to B, passes something to C. So we're going to start with this basic framework. And we're going to start with the following language. We're just going to assume it's all A, so it goes A to B. So when I look at this, the first thing that I see is this right here. B receives whatever it receives in fee simple. And why is that? Well, there's no limiting language. So no limiting language, boom, fee simple. Pretty straightforward, just got to remember that. Well, what's an example of limiting language? Well, limiting language would be something like this. To be, comma, for life. Now, I added the comma just for the sake of visualization. It may not be there, but in real life, in application. But this limiting language here, for life, which I'm going to highlight in green, now alters B's possession because it's limited by its life. So this is now called the life estate. And basically, B takes possession in this for its life, and it's known as a life estate. Well, what happens if B passes away or B dies after its life? Inevitably, B will die. Everyone does. So in this particular case, since there's no language beyond this, A has a reversionary interest. So I'll put that in black. So in this case, this really looks like this. A to B, and we'll say LE, life estate. And we'll do it in purple, and we'll say A has a reversionary interest. And we're just going to say reversion. Almost forgot how to spell reversion there. And the most important thing to remember is everything in school is all about buzzwords. So this is a reversionary interest. When B passes away, if A is still around or A's estate, which A's estate will always be around, A will have a reversionary interest in whatever A passed to B. Since B's life is over, there's no language further down. There's nothing here, nothing further, ignore the life estate, nothing further, and so A has a reversionary interest. Now let's say there is further language. So let's look at this. To B, for life, then to C. All right, I'm going to go back, just highlight everything, to B, for life. So we know that B has a life estate. And then to C. Well, what is C's interest? I'm going to put this in blue. C has what we call a remainder. And why does C have a remainder? Well, a remainder always follows a life estate, which kind of actually makes sense. So whatever is left after B's life goes to C. Whatever remains after B's life goes to C. Keep in mind that A, we'll put them in here, we'll just write it right here. A will always have, or A's estate, will always have a reversionary interest, RI, if C's not around. So in a situation where C's not around, well, nothing can go to C. B dies, goes now back to A. Now, I think a lot of times in school, people kind of just skip right over that. Oh, okay, it's a remainder, I get that. But it's important to remember that a remainder follows a life estate. So if there's one thing you're going to take away from this part 1 of this video, is that the life estate is followed by a remainder. We'll just say a remainder interest. And in part 2 of this video, when I build on this, this is really a big takeaway. It's important to remember this. Because as more interests pile on and things change and things get a little more complex, it's just important to have good, solid foundation. So I'm going to talk about this more in part 2 of this video.